keep going
It'll
right
have
now.
to be like a part one and then like a part two
No, there's no
situation.
part one and no part two. What's up,
Damn,
everybody?
because
We're
we don't
back.
need.
We live. I don't know. Okay, so Boo ended us, and we didn't realize he ended. We over here having a whole conversation, and my butt dumb behind was saying, "No, you should record the screen," and I didn't. So we don't know where we left off, and we're just gonna continue talking where we was at because Boo ended our live when he ended it. Instead of clicking on the
Yeah,
link for me to let him in, he logged in on his own, and he ended the live.
yeah,
So therefore, that was the problem. He should have just tapped on leave instead of end. But anyway, so here we go. We're starting this again.
so with
Um,
that, go ahead.
we're
I'm
not
finna
getting
cut you
into all
off.
that. We're going to catch up to where basically we were discussing why I don't feel like the police department wants to actually you should defund it, and why she feels like you should. Um, and we were talking about something somebody said because we'll eventually go back and
Yeah,
forth with what we
so
said anyway.
you
So go
mentioned
ahead.
in the last video that something about people, will only do things for a certain amount of time until
Yeah, well,
somebody
yeah,
does
like right
something
now,
and
this is
then,
an election year. So an election year,
yeah.
then if you don't notice, if those of you who drive, if you ever notice during an election year, they start fixing the roads
Mm.
every time because they want you to say that they want to say, well, I such and such, look what I did to your streets. I made sure there was no
Yeah,
bumps on those streets. It's always during election year.
facts.
So I feel like with the police department. Hi, Joy Chit Chat. We sorry about all that. I know we lost you. We didn't even know we lost you. We was having a whole conversation.
Hey, Joy Chit Chat girl, what's up?
So
Um, yeah, so
they
like
do
I
think
was
they
saying,
use brain, yeah. So now when they took it,
like I was saying, because you mentioned, you were like, people are gonna shut up because they took $1 billion. But I was just letting you know that no, people were not settling for this $1 billion, take away from the
but they did.
NYPD. Like no, people are still to this day like talking about it. And
Yeah, but
why
okay, this
it's
is my
just that
point.
because of the election and COVID and all of that other stuff, you don't necessarily hear a lot about it. You know what I mean?
But okay, but
So
COVID was happening when they defunded the police department, and the election, the election has nothing to do. One is nothing to do. This is why
no,
I
I'm
say they
saying in
said it.
terms of now. In terms of
Yeah,
now,
but
you
this is
don't
why I
hear
say they
about it.
said it. No, but you don't. But that's what I explained to you when it first happened. They were doing the Black Lives Matter movement. And I was telling you, it always happens this way. They go strong, and it's not that. And I feel like I said, as my sister
But
Nicole
it's
was
not the
saying,
people, it's the
no,
media
no, it's as
coverage.
Nicole was saying, life happens. So in the beginning, you have that time. You're there doing what you need to do. They were out there protesting. They were out there doing what they need to do. But eventually, they stopped. And here's what happened. They were down in front of police. They were across the street from one police plant from City Hall, whatever it is. Down there, they were over there by that park. I don't know, I can't remember the name of the park. Gramercy Park, Gramercy, whatever the name of the street is, right there in Lower Manhattan off of Chambers Street and the Brooklyn Bridge. I know where it's
Mm-hmm.
at. Don't know the name of it. Don't judge me. So
Mm-hmm.
they were over there, right? And they were in the park, and they were squatting. They were Mongo slave. I agree with the increase the training. I definitely do with increasing training, and there are a lot of things they can do. Foot soldier, hi, foot soldier, how you doing? Oh, it's a lot of static. I'm sorry to hear a lot of static. It could be my AC because I'm not supposed to have it on, but I'm
Yeah,
hot.
I was gonna say that's what I hear. Like a
I
lot of
hear it
static.
rocking to it. Yeah, it's making a lot of noise. You hear a lot of static too?
Yeah. Remember when I
Bad enough.
initially got in, I was like, I hear something, and I left and came back.
Um, so, but like we were saying, the thing with that is that you start going hard, but they were going there. They were all there, cooping, but eventually people have things to do. And so people couldn't stay there overnight. So they started allowing the homeless people to squat in their spots and feeding them. So it kept looking like there were so many people there, but there weren't. And that was why the police department raided the Gramercy Park. What was the name for the buckets? They raided it because there were a lot of homeless people there, and they was thinking, see, you're there in the park, you go home, you bathe. Next shift comes in, like if they would have had a bed, but like I said, life, as Nicole says, life happens. And I agree with that. Now let's read some of these comments because we got comments. Mongo Slave said, Police should be trained regularly like the army. They need more training for engaging civilians. um, and then foot soldiers, so how are you guys doing? I'm gonna address Mongo Slade about that. Like I
I
explained
agree
in our
with what he's
first,
saying. Police should
but
be
I remember
trained
what I said in the
regularly
first
like
thing.
the
No, they
army.
should train. But what I said in the beginning, you're never gonna know how you're gonna handle a situation till you are in the situation. And I'm saying that being somebody who's had to deal with irate people.
Say what you say. I read
No.
what he's saying. He says, where the favorite cousin at? He stay not doing his job. Sad.
Who's
Well,
your favorite?
this is actually like a special situation.
Oh, so this situation started. You didn't weren't here from the
Yeah.
beginning. We are here. Oh, the favorite cousin. That sounds like something somebody shouldn't be saying. But anyway, how do you know the favorite cousin? Anyway, the situation happened was Tina made a comment in the last video, and I found out about it because it came to me like gossip. Let me tell you
And I
what
don't
she
know
said.
why. And I don't know why. Cause
No, and I didn't even get to watch. The crazy thing is, I didn't even get to watch the live because the live happened Thursday. I fell asleep. I was knocked out,
hmm
and then
yeah.
Friday I had a funeral to go to, and then Saturday I worked today, and then I had to drive something. I went with my dad, and it was like running around. Long Island traffic is a bitch. I hate traveling to Long Island.
I'm
I
gonna read
love
the
my
comment. Go
sunshine.
ahead. First I just said okay.
Um, but like I said, the problem with training, you cannot train for every situation. They train them in the police academy, but you can't train for every situation. You understand what I'm saying? That's just reality. You
I
can't.
wouldn't
So
say
you
they
won't know.
train
No,
at the
you.
police
They do. They
academy,
do. They
child.
train them. Trust me when I tell you, they train them. They train them, and the thing
I
is that,
don't listen.
but you can't. You know what it is? It's easy to say that they're not trained if you've never been in the police academy. Like you can only tell me about what you've experienced in life. Like you can judge from the outside, but you unless you're inside. Now, when police officers they talk about the things that are going on in the police department, I listen. Like I pay attention to those things. When they tell me, I have a friend who's a police officer. He's been a police officer for a couple of years. I've been a supervisor for 5, so I want to say he's probably been a police officer longer than that. And he told me that he has people that came in after him. So there's still a little bit of things going on in the police department that need to be fixed. That he didn't get promoted. There's that everywhere though. You understand what I'm saying? In the military, there's the same thing. Yeah, they get trained often. They do, but they all
I
have their little
agree,
technical
Mongo
problems
Slade.
too.
Nah, they don't. I gotta agree with them. I don't listen.
But they
I
don't get
hear
trained
what
to
it
deal
is
with
you
the people.
saying, but
That's not. But you can say that, but you can't say that because
I
if
mean,
you're
but
into
who's
if
to
every
say that
interaction,
what they're telling you is even half of the
but
truth?
okay, but
You
the
know,
people that are
like,
telling
okay,
you
yeah,
are
they're
not.
letting you know this, but how do you know they're telling the truth about it?
No, but okay.
People
Police officers.
exaggerate.
Who exaggerates? The people, my friends. My friends are not exaggerating. People in random police officers maybe, but people that I've known, I know everything that
Mongo
happens. I
Slade
know how
said
hard they treat them.
police training only takes like 6 months and they mostly just learn the laws and go to the gun range.
No,
Sounds about right.
no.
Sounds about right. Unless they're hazing and doing all that other stuff. First just said it's good
Maybe.
to get y'all's women's input on things. Forget the favorite cousin not being here.
Well, no, I don't listen. Training in the police department. I'm gonna say this. It's not just that. It might seem like that to other people, but they actually train. They actually go now. They actually go to the precinct for part of their training. They're actually in a precinct do part of their training. They get hands-on training now. The thing is that, and like I'm gonna say this, if you're somebody who's never experienced, if you live in a neighborhood, right? You grew up in a neighborhood. You never seen the guy on the corner selling drugs, right? You never seen that. You never seen a crackhead. Never seen that. You've never seen a 15-year-old holding a gun. You've never seen that. These are things you're not accustomed to. Now I put this in your face. Your reaction
That's
to it is all
listen,
on
you
you.
just gotta know what job you trying to go
Yeah,
to.
but
And that
listen,
just goes
that's the
into
thing.
what you
In
were
their
saying
mind,
about that
but
just
that's the
goes
thing.
into
They've
what you were
seen
saying about
police officers, but that's what I'm saying. They see police officers, and they're like, "Oh, this is not that difficult," or they know police officers, and they're like, "Yeah, this is cool." Like I have a friend, he wants to be a police officer, and his cousin's a police officer, and his cousin's like, "Yeah, it's cool, it's chill, it's not that big of a deal," but it's all how you are as a person. That's why I said if more people in the communities will become police officers, and they would be able to start learning. Like if let's say
I wouldn't
you
advise
think
that to
that,
nobody
but why not? If you want to police
because it's
yourself,
corrupt.
then it's not.
Corrupt.
But you are not corrupt. That's the thing. The problem with people is it starts with, and this is the
The
problem with everybody.
but
It
Laura, the
starts with
NYPD
you
is
though.
okay.
I
Okay.
can't, but that's what I'm saying. It starts.
It
I work for
does.
them, right? I work for them. I work in an office with a particular person that
Right.
they preach. They get on my goddamn. They lazy as fuck, but they tell you about yourself all the time, right? And from the time I made supervisor, I've heard the same thing. Stop thinking like an agent. I hate that saying because that's what got me here, thinking like an agent, wanting to do better, wanting to be better. Wanted to,
Right.
when I started as a traffic agent, I was writing summonses. I didn't like the way the supervisors treated us, right? I finally got my act together because I was a bad one. I'm not gonna lie. Finally got my act together and I made supervisor. And with the help of people that knew that I would be good.
Right. So with that, if we okay, so
So I'm not saying no, I'm not saying
defunding
I
the
was good. That's
police.
what, yeah, that's it. Defund. So that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
if you
So
are a police officer and you want to do better, you have to do better. You can't just allow them to say you can't just go with the flow. That's the problem with everybody. I don't just go with the flow. I do what I feel is best. And by any means, I'm always ready to defend myself. That's why I'm always ready for the fight. If a police officer, you live in a community, you live in the Bronx, right? You live in Brooklyn, you become police officer. You don't change who you are. You understand what I'm
but the
saying? You take the
reality
knowledge
is,
that
Lord,
provides you.
just like you. But the reality is, Lord, just like you mentioned, like you don't know how you will react when the situation is presented to
Yeah,
you
but
in
if
front of
you
your
know about
face.
the hustle on the
That's
corner,
exactly why everybody is corrupt. Well, not everybody, but that's why you have corruption in the NYPD. Everybody doesn't start off as a psycho racist who wants to, shoot the
yeah,
first
but
thing they
everybody's not
see.
racist. And it's
Right,
not only
but
racism. There are
I
other
think we
things that
can
are corrupt in the
I
police
think we
department.
can say I think it's the NYPD is corrupt. At the end of the day, whether it's racism or not, it's still corrupt.
I mean, they have
Um,
issues. I'm not going to say corrupt. They have issues in the police
they are
department.
corrupt, Laura. The NYPD can very
You
well be
can't say if
bought.
they're corrupt because
The NYPD can very well be bought.
I
It
won't
can be
agree to
bought.
that because
It
I don't
has
think
been
that they
bought.
can be bought
It's been bought before.
before, but not now. That's what I'm saying. The new police
It's
officers that
I'm
are coming
sure.
out,
Listen,
the new regime is different. I don't feel like, listen, I believe this much and I believe this
you
much
don't
with
think they're
everything.
bought, Laura.
No.
You don't think this budget cut is making them act outrageous, them not wanting
How they
to,
acting
well, them
outrageous?
not being able to have OT, them putting in the newspapers and stuff like that saying that crime has increased when in actuality
But
it's
they didn't
them
put that in the
committing the
paper. They
crime.
didn't put
It's
it.
them committing
That's
the
not the, you
crime,
can't say that. You
hence
can't prove
going
that.
back to our video,
But that, again, let's go to the video. The
okay,
video,
so
you cannot
right,
see,
but
you
what I'm
cannot see a
saying is
police
this,
officer's
Laura.
uniform. You cannot see a name. You cannot see a badge. You can't, all you see is a
Laura,
helmet and
that man
blue.
was talking
That's
high
what,
as hell. Okay, all right.
it was a
So
man. So let
in
me ask
that
you something.
video, all right.
In
So
the
let's
video,
explain
that
to the people
man
what
was saying
video.
it's a police officer, so you believe the man but you don't believe your eyes because nothing about that said police officer. I looked directly at the video. Tell me
Laura,
where you see a police officer. Tell me where there's a
Laura.
where you know it's a police officer.
Granted, the video might be a little blurry and a little
A
fuzzy,
lot of blurry, a lot of
a
blurry, and a
little
lot of
blurry
fuzzy.
and a
Not a
little
little.
fuzzy.
You
But why
can't make
is
out a police officer.
Laura? That why is that
So
man
see,
yelling in the crowd? It's people
okay, so
there
he's yelling. Okay,
yelling,
he's
talking
yelling on a
about,
video.
yo, this is
He's
the
yelling on a
NYPD.
video.
Why are they
On a
breaking
boring
into?
video,
Oh, Laura.
he's
Okay.
because I watched the video. I did what you said. I watched the video and I said, "This is exactly what I say you do often. You just go by what he said." Because that man, he didn't identify. He never. If they were police officers, why you
Laura,
didn't
so
walk up to
because
them
the
and get the
video,
information?
but so because he didn't have a badge number or anything to that extent, they weren't
You're gonna
police
tell me
officers.
you're gonna tell me
They
you,
weren't
but you
police
can't say they
officers.
are. You can't. Why
Laura, I
would a
can't say
police
they are,
officer?
but why would he sitting
You
there in
can't
the middle of a crowd
because he
of
because people
people?
lie. What do you mean people
Everybody was
lie?
watching.
What do you
Laura,
mean
everybody,
people lie? You don't show me
Laura,
a video
everybody
that
was.
shows a police officer doing something wrong. That's different. But if you are recording, if I'm recording you doing some physical, if you're recording me committing a crime, why would I be in my uniform? That's first and foremost. That's stupidity. And to even think that you're gonna say these police officers who
Is
you
that
just
what you think? Is that what you
yeah,
really
that's
think? Or
stupid.
you
If
don't
you
think
could
that they're
use
using their bad? No, you don't think they're using their
no, I don't
uniform
think
to
so.
their
No,
advantage and their
no.
privilege? Because
What
NYPD has
privilege do they have?
privilege.
No,
You don't
they don't
think
have
that
any
that's
privilege. and they don't have no
Laura.
advantage. You
All
gonna
right,
tell
so for
me?
those of you who don't understand what video we're talking about, I sent it to Laura. We're gonna try to see if we can insert a clip of it or whatever the case may be. But to make it a long story short, in the video, there was a guy who was recording a jewelry store out here on Fordham Road in the Bronx, New York, and the video, granted it was blurry, but in the video the guy is clearly yelling in the street, yo, why is the police in here breaking into the jewelry store? Meanwhile, he's recording the entire thing. And you clearly
Security
see
happening.
a group of white police officers, because she don't want it. She Laura is really trying to debunk this by saying like, oh,
I'm not
you
debunking it.
don't
I'm
see a
saying
badge number or anything to that extent. You're not going to see that
you.
from a distance. It's
So let
not
me
in
ask you a
front of their
question.
face. Hold on, they're
But
not.
why
It
wouldn't you
wasn't in
defund their
front of
face?
their. Laura, why would you listen? You looking at that situation for the first time, and you're like, wait a minute, why is police officers over here, doing something illegal?
And
And
I'm gonna get the information.
nobody's saying anything about it. Mind you, you already know whenever it comes down to people and recording and shit like that, they're never up close and personal.
That's
They
not true.
always
That is
so
a lie.
they're not
Because
they're
I've
not
seen many
listen,
police, I've seen many videos
Laura.
on YouTube with police officers, with the motorists going to the police, the people going to the police officer, and be like, "What's your badge number?" And I've seen 100,000 videos like
When
that.
it's involving
Even during
them,
the
when it's involving
yes, no,
them,
not even
when they're
involving
in the
them.
middle of
When
the
it was the
situation,
black, first of all, when it was the Black Lives
but
Matter
walking
movement,
up
when they
to
was
a
walking,
group of
okay,
police
when the
officers
guy had his
breaking
knee,
into
when the guy had his knee on when the police officer had his knee on that guy's head, he didn't go and get his information. That had nothing to do with him. But exactly
hun,
what I said, they have when
he
you want
was
to,
there when
you
it
will get the
happened.
information.
He
If
was
a
there
police
when it
officer,
happened,
and
Laura. So he
if you
was
tell me
kind of in
say
the mix
the
for
guy, but he wasn't a part of it. The
he
same
wasn't
way
a
the guy
part, but
yelling from
he was in the
okay, so
mix
the
of when
guy
it
yelling from
happened.
across the street isn't a part of it.
He
He's in the midst of it. It says some of
No, he
y'all
was
don't
not in the
do
mix
use
or a
the
part
badge
of it. He
for
just so
to
happened to
do
pull
dirt.
up
Who
and
you?
look. So while she's reading comments, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the video, finish explaining. So basically, a guy recording a group of white police officers, using a chainsaw or what it looks to be like some kind of saw, and they are
So we walk
literally
around with
cutting
that.
open. They're literally cutting open the metal bars and the metal windows that the jury owners placed down to protect their store from the looters and the rioters. You see the police officers just cutting open this entire door and antagonizing the community, using their privilege and their badge and their
I don't
uniform to
get that.
sit here and get what it is that they want. The police
You
are under
cannot
fire. Hold
prove that it
on.
was
The
a police
police are under
officer.
fire right now. Police are under fire right now, and they need something to do. There's not that much crime going on. So what are they going to do? They're going to sit here and try to do what they can to sit here and obviously get crime going on. That's how they're going to
First
get
of all, first
paid.
of all, first of all, that this is the conspiracy theory that you're living under.
It's not a
Because first of all,
conspiracy
the
theory,
reality of it,
Laura.
the reality, yes, it
It's
is
not a
because
just because
you're
you can't
saying
see the
that
badge
police officers, no, no,
number.
no, no,
Just
no, no,
because you
no,
can't
no.
see
You
his
didn't see
badge number
nothing. You
don't
didn't see a
mean the video is
uniform.
a conspiracy
You
theory.
didn't tell me that the police department patch is bright red, orange, and blue. You could see the patch from
Laura.
away. From that
Mm-hmm.
distance, you should be able to see a patch because I've seen
Not if
videos
the
before
video
the
is a
police
little
officers.
blurry. No, you can't.
It's not illegal. That's why you say you're trying to justify this guy yelling and say, "Oh, look at the police," and that makes it the police. So if you say, "Oh, look at Donald Trump," that made it Donald Trump too. They
Laura,
weren't.
why
You
would
weren't even
somebody
the video was
record
very
police
dark
officers doing a crime? And why would he
because
record
people
everybody
lie.
sitting there? Why would he record
It
people?
was
Mind
only
you, just
him
think about it,
recording.
Laura. Think
He
about it.
showed
Think
you
about it.
one video.
Think
You're not
about it.
thinking. You're not thinking
Okay.
about it. What you're doing is you're telling yourself you don't like the police department, so they have to be police officers.
Laura,
The video is
okay,
dark.
so Laura, if
The
it
video,
was
and
a
I can't.
regular
You have the
civilian, if
video
it
on
was
your
a
phone. You can share the video in the
if
comments.
it was
Share the
a
video in the comments.
regular, if it was
Share
if
the video in the comments. You share the video. You can share the video in the comments. I can't share it in the comments because it's in the group.
I
Share
can't
the
share
video
it
in
in the
the.
comments. I cannot share it in the comments. I can only do a private chat. I can't share it in the comments.
You can't share. You didn't record it.
I don't know. I don't know, but we're gonna try to
In
put
the
the
video,
video out or
you can't see a uniform, you can't see
you
a
can't see a
badge, you can't
uniform.
see a
Oh my god.
you see
Okay.
a black you see a
Justifying,
security card.
justifying,
It could be a
Listen,
security guard uniform. You
listen.
cannot
Y'all a
tell me.
little
I
squad.
know what
Y'all
it
a
looks.
little squad. Y'all
Listen,
gonna sit there and ride
because
together,
you're
die
saying
together.
no, but you have no evidence. You're just saying because some
Laura,
random guy
so why
yells.
don't you think
So let me
about
ask you
this?
something. The
Why
police
would
officers,
any
the
regular
police officers
civilian,
walk
why would
around
it be okay?
to blame the police
So
officers. Same reason why you're saying that they did it. Why wouldn't they do it? Police officers are not walking around with a sword. We're just not walking around in uniform with a sword. Like they didn't just walk around with a sword. So they went home. They went home to get a sword to store into something in the Bronx.
Hun,
When they got all the
those
jewelry stores in
supplies you
Lower
speaking
Manhattan,
about, hun, listen, it's not that hard for a police officer to get a saw. It's not that hard.
right?
It
What
is
they
not
walking
that
around
hard
with
to
a
get a
sword,
saw when
and
you're a police
it's not
officer.
that hard for somebody to get a helmet and some black clothes and go
Laura,
into a
they
different.
didn't have a helmet on.
He did,
Laura,
yes,
why
they
don't
did.
you think about this? If it was a regular
I watched the
civilian,
video.
mind you, when the looting and all of that stuff was going on, people were out. You saw groups of people running into these stores. You saw people by the dozen breaking
You
into
saw
things.
faces.
You
Yes,
saw, hold
faces of
on,
people.
no, you saw a group of people or a group of individuals devouring one store. Think about it. If this man is recording and you just see people standing watching it go on, they're not going
They're
towards
waiting to
like
go
them
into the
trying to help
store.
them. Hold on, they're not going to the jewelry store to help these people, these non-police officers. They're not trying to help them open it. Why would they just stand around and look in disbelief? They're looking in shock right now. Like
You said people. It's
you
one
can
guy,
see people
and
you can
it's
see
one
people
person. The
looking
people
at
you
these
see
group.
is in the morning
Laura, you
during the
can see
daytime
these
when they show
people
you
looking
inside the
at
store. The the evening part of the video, there's not people around. There's one
there.
guy. There's a bunch of people cutting into the store, and it looked like a helmet and some dark clothes. That's all I see. I
It
didn't
wasn't
see
a helmet.
nothing
That
else.
was a whole head. It wasn't no helmet. They didn't
It
have
didn't
a
look like a
helmet.
head. That's how blurry that. That's how bad the video was. That's my point. It looked like somebody
Okay,
said
granted,
helmet.
again, the
It looked
video
like one
could be
of those
bad, but I
helmets.
tell you one thing, I would try my best to sit here and look it up just so I could sit here and send you a better version. I would try my best to
Okay,
find that
find a better
video.
way because I
I
nothing
would
about
try
that
my best to
video.
find
I
that
see nothing
video.
that screamed police officer. All I see
All
was
right.
some guy yelling
All right.
the police officer doing it. Now, if you
In
show
your
the video with a
opinion, it
police
doesn't say
officer, no,
anything about police officer.
I didn't see anything. I have a uniform. I know what it looks like. I know what the police
Right.
uniform looks like.
In the dark, you know very
I do.
well that the uniform that you wear
I
and
do know
police
what it.
officers wear are two different colors. Theirs are like
No,
a
no, no, it's not.
very
No, no, no.
dark top, dark bottoms. Y'all got light blue
The only
shirts and
difference
dark
that we
bottoms.
wear, the only difference in our uniform is our shirt. Our pants, our
Okay, Laura, the
jacket
shirt
are all
is
the same
darker.
colors.
Their shirts are dark and y'all's
But the
aren't.
patch is still
It's
the
still
same. The patch is still the same.
Laura.
Doesn't matter the
Okay.
color of the uniform. The
All
patch
right.
is still the
And
same.
what patch? Where does the patch? Where's the patch on both arms?
The
Or just
patch
one?
sits right on both your arms. Yes, it sits on both arms. And every
Okay.
jacket has reflectors.
Okay.
And their vests have reflectors. So therefore you're telling me something that you don't know, but I know. I know the patch.
No, I very well
The
knew that
patch is
they
a
had
bright
edges
yellow
on the
patch.
side.
The
Right.
patch you can't miss the patch. It's bright yellow. So even though their
So
uniform
what
is
sense
dark, you
does
see a
okay?
bright
So
yellow
what
patch.
sense does
I
regular
didn't see that bright yellow
civilian?
patch.
What sense does it make that regular civilians are just watching around? Mind you,
Because they
Fordham
want to
got
accuse
looted
the
like
police.
fuck.
Because
No,
listen, this is
Lord,
the thing. This is the problem. You
Fordham
want to
got
see something, you're
raided.
not letting me see. You're seeing, okay,
Lord, you been
the
talking all
people,
night, girl.
no, but the people, listen, the people raided the store. So now, I want to make it seem like the police officers encouraged them to raid the store.
That
Because
no,
that's
they
how I'm
gonna
looking
put
at it.
all that thought into that to try and frame police officers.
Why
Girl,
not?
you
Why
started,
not? They put all that
man.
thought into saying defund the police department.
Laura, the
What's the
police
difference?
officers, listen, they needed something to do.
They
So
don't need
therefore
nothing to
they
do. They get
started
paid
that
to take
fucking
it.
riot
That's
down
what
there on
you fail to
Fordham.
realize. They didn't
They
start it right
started
on
that
for them.
riot. They
The people
started
that
that
live on
riot.
Fordham started the riot. That's one.
No,
And
the
two,
police officers started the
they,
riot
didn't, they,
just
don't, they
like
don't
they're
need to start a riot. Let me explain to you why they don't need to start a riot. Here's why they don't need to start a riot. They get paid
Lord, they
for their
need to
shift.
start a riot.
They don't
Right.
need
They
to
need
start a
to
riot. They get paid for their shift. Whether you get whether they do a where they help somebody or not, they get paid for their shift. Whether they sit there and arrest somebody or not, they still get paid for their 8.5 hours.
oh,
So
they
while they
having
need to,
action going on. That's what it is.
no, but they don't need it though. You're saying they need it like
No,
that was going to
they
make their
need
day.
it.
They
They
don't
need it,
need it.
especially
No,
when
they
they
don't.
bored.
They don't need that on their board. That's what they have their phones for. Are you really thinking that
Laura,
people are sitting here and saying to themselves, "Oh, let's do crime so because I need something to do. No,
Listen. The budget was
that's
cut.
not reality. The
Police
budget was
officers
cut, and I
feeling
told
some
you what
type
was
of
cut.
way. Police officers are
They were
feeling some
feeling some
type of
type of
way
way, but they
about
just
it.
stopped. That's why when people were getting
They
shot
did
and
not just
killed,
stop.
when people were getting shot and killed, they were sitting there, they wasn't rushing. That's what was happening.
Right.
That was what they doing. Because they felt like, okay, you don't need me, then you save yourself. And I agree with that. If you feel like you don't need the police officers, then never call the police department. Because people always say, I don't need police officers, we don't need them. But those are the first people
Girl, they
that
don't do
come
their
when you need
damn
them.
job anyway. What are
That's
you
not true.
talking
You
about?
can talk
What are
about
you
some, you
talking
can't talk
about?
about all. You
They
can
don't do
talk
their
about
job in
some,
the
but you
first
can't say
place.
all. That's not
Speaking
true. All police
let
officers.
me just pull up some fun facts. Did you know that 440 tickets police issued for biking on the sidewalk in 2018, 2019, 86% of them were Black and Hispanic. Cops
Okay.
issued 99% of jaywalking tickets to Black and brown Hispanic people in the first quarter of this year. And this was coming from 2020. So this wasn't 2018 or no shit like that. This is
And where you
actually
getting these facts
2020.
from? Where'd you get these facts
Uh,
from? What's your source? Because I seen the video, so I know your
no,
source didn't always
I'm
lie.
telling you right now.
What's
This
your
one right
source?
here
You
is
gave
from
me
the Washington Post.
the
It's a
Washington
credible
Post. Because
source.
we're in Washington.
Yes. So
We're
it's
in
the
Washington.
credible.
They're not a credible source.
Lord, I
They
mean
that's
the New York
they're not a
Sun
credible.
and girl.
No,
Yes,
there's
they
a New York
are.
Post. How's that a
Okay,
credible
where
source?
is the
Because
New
you said
York
so.
Post? It was Laura. Now
You
you
said
want to sit here and
Washington
try
Post.
and debunk my
No,
resources.
no. First of all, you're gonna get resources. You should have the right name for them. So you said the Washington
Laura,
Post. But we're not
I
in
made a
Washington.
mistake and
But
said
but
Washington
okay, the New York.
Post. Okay, you got me. I tried
You know what I'm
to
saying? But if
correct
you're saying these
myself.
facts are coming from these people, I've never seen that. And I've seen the ratings. They don't.
Laura, do
You
you
saying
do
that
you
because that's
read
what they're saying.
do you read the newspaper? Do
Yes,
you get
I
the
do.
Okay, well, you
I
didn't know
do.
that. You didn't know that.
No, because I don't know that anybody. I don't know how many
Cool,
police
but I
officers.
got
You
more.
said
I
for.
got more. Um, people, these are civilians. People reported how poorly police officers respond to street safety issues. Often, make things more dangerous by parking in sidewalks and bike lanes. Um, there is people. No, that's too long. I'm not gonna read that long thing,
So you're gonna
but
tell me. Let me
yeah.
ask you a
So some
question.
fun
Somebody,
facts.
somebody beats you up.
NYPD is not
Somebody
has
beats you up, and you
NYPD.
want them to find a proper parking spot.
What are you
That's what
talking
you
about,
just said.
Laura? Oh, because
You just said that
that's
people.
how that situation happened. That's how
Yes,
that
that's exactly how
situation
that
happened.
situation happened. When,
People reporting police officers not
first
doing
of
their
all,
job in the street
first of all, being somebody who's
because
dealt with complaints. No,
somebody
no,
got
I'm
beat
saying,
up.
no, I'm saying you said they sit there and they park illegally, and because they're impeding the safety of people, but you're saying that that's what they do, and I'm saying so if you got beat up, you want them to find a legal
But
parking
that's not
spot
the reason why
before they help you.
that's not the
That is
reason
why they
why.
park the way they park. You gonna
Okay,
tell me
well
if they
that's
go to
the
a
reason you
location?
think they
I've
park the way
seen
they
them. No,
park.
no, I know. I've seen them go to accidents. I've seen them go to different things. I've seen agents
Right.
get assaulted,
Well,
and I've
obviously
seen them
these
go to the
people.
assault. Yeah, they can.
Right.
But I mean, I've dealt with complaints. I've interviewed people for complaints, and I know that people make complaints about everything. So do I believe a complaint? No, I don't believe a civilian because I've physically seen a civilian assault somebody, and then turn around and say, I didn't do it. It was them. So no, I don't believe these people. You can sit there and believe them because that's what you choose to believe, and that's your choice. But when you're
Laura,
hearing
well,
these things and these complaints, if
seeing as though I
somebody's
got this
hurt,
information from a credible source,
you didn't get that from
granted, it
credit because you
wasn't
got
one
that
of
from
those.
civilians. You got that from
I'm sorry.
civilians. That's not a credible source. You said you got that from civilians.
No, I got this off of a website.
Oh, so that
But
makes it
it
credible because
wasn't.
you
But
got not.
no, it wasn't one of those jacked up websites. I can't remember the name. I
So
think
it's
it's
not.
like
You can't
the
say it's
New
not
York.
credible.
It's something involving New York, child. That's all I know.
Now,
It's
that's
one
I
of
put
these
I
New
put
York
I
posts.
put
New York
New York
Post. The New
News,
York Post. It's the New York Post. That's what it
but
is.
that doesn't make it credible about what civilians say. You
What are you
just said
talking
civilians
about,
say.
Laura?
You
You talking
said
about
you're
you don't
coming.
even listen to even listen
Hold
to
on, hold on.
complaints.
You
You don't
said
believe complaints.
no, no, no. I listen to complaints. I listen to valid complaints. But you just said the civilian. You said this wasn't from a source. Civilians
Hmm.
said that police
People,
officers.
no, no. I said people reported. Yeah, people
People
reported.
reported. So that wasn't from a source. That's from people. Is that a source? No, that's just random people making reports, and that's what I'm
But I'm
talking
sure
about.
they
So
fact
you
check.
can't say that's a
I'm
credible.
sure they fact check.
That's not. No, I'm not saying that police officers haven't parked their cars improperly to deal with a situation. No, I'm not going to say that. But I'm saying to you, You would rather, if God forbid something was going wrong with you, that they find parking to appease the people who are going to make the complaint. Because when something's going on in your house, the person on the street doesn't know something's going on in your house. They don't know that you need help. They don't know that your people need help. All they know is
Laura,
the police department is on the block. That's all they know. That's facts. Am I lying? When, if God forbid something happens to you, they know that the police over, they know that you need help in your house. They know that something's wrong with you. The people, random people walking the street, they don't know that. So to say that when they go to a location that they just park wrong on the bike lane or whatever, yeah, they do that because if they're going to save somebody's life or help somebody, yeah, they why should they find a parking spot to go do that if you need help at that time?
mm.
That's just
So
reality.
that's why that happened. So you're saying that that's why that happened. That's why
I'm
people
saying that that's
reported
why they park the
because
cars. No, I'm saying that's why they park the cars. You're talking about people that report it. People who are reporting it are not involved with the situation. So if God forbid somebody's grandmother is in the hospital or in the house that fell, right? And they need to break down the door, right? And the police officer he should stop his car, go find a proper parking spot, and then run to the building
not to
to
that
save
extent.
somebody's life.
Not to that
So what should he
extent.
do? He should stop the car in front of the building and go help the person that needs help. Correct? That's what. So the person on the street doesn't know that this person in the house needs help. So when you're making that complaint about it, you're not saying, "Oh, the police officer parked illegally
But
to go to the
it
store and
sounds
get
as if you're
cigarettes."
justifying people reporting that police
I'm not.
officers
I'm not
doing this
justifying the
based
people
on,
reporting.
oh,
I'm
it's
justifying
obviously
the.
because of a crime. Like, no, that's
No,
not
no.
how the
I'm just. No,
situation
it
always
doesn't have to.
works.
It's people.
But that's
Listen,
what
when
you're
you call
making it seem like.
911, no, when you call 911, it's a situation. Because if you call 911 about something stupid, they're not rushing to you. You know that. That's just reality. If you call
Laura,
911 and say I broke my toe, they're not rushing to you. They're gonna send an ambulance. But if you call 911 because my ex-husband is beating down my door and he's screaming on the phone, yeah, they're gonna rush. And that means they're gonna park their car on the sidewalk. Then that's what the fuck they're gonna park their car. So yes, I am
right.
justifying their behavior to do what to deal with certain
Even
things.
so, Laura, around here, they don't necessarily, they're not leaving their cars all of the time. They're actually just parked in their cars, eating,
Okay.
doing whatever it is that they're doing. So
And they're parking the
again,
bus
it's
and
not,
on
again,
the
this
sidewalk
isn't,
eating.
again, you're
On the sidewalk eating,
justifying.
they park on the sidewalk eating their
Yes,
food.
they do. They
I've
do
never
it
seen a
out
car
here,
park on the
Laura.
sidewalk. Well,
They
then
do it
you should.
out
I
here.
need
They got a
evidence of
whole
that because I've never
precinct
seen
up the
it.
road.
Okay, the precinct, that's a precinct. They're not, that's how they're
No, no, no,
allowed to
no,
park their
no.
cars.
That's not what I'm saying is they do that here and they have a whole precinct up the road from where I live.
Because
They
they
do
have
the shit
station
out here,
posts.
Laura.
They
Huh?
have
It's
station
not
posts. They have a post.
right.
You're supposed to be
Right.
on
And
your
I
post.
get that. And
If your post
sometimes
is not the precinct, then you're supposed to be on your
Laura,
post.
Laura.
Christine, you can say my name is not gonna change me answering the way I'm saying. You're saying you're justifying. You're trying to say that they're
No, you're the
constantly
only
wrong, and
one
that's not
justifying
reality.
saying that it's
I know I'm
obviously
saying. No, I'm
because it's a
explaining to you.
crime when it
No,
ain't
I'm
no
explaining
crime
to you.
involved.
You don't know what's going on. Because you see.
Laura,
Okay,
these
wait, here.
people be
So did
parked
you?
up
Okay,
here
so then let me ask you a
more.
question. You're so adamant that they're doing something wrong. Why are you not making a complaint? Why are you not taking pictures and sending it in?
Cause
If
them
they're not doing
parking on the
anything,
side of the road and bicycles, that shit don't bother me. That's how I know it's serious because it's obviously coming from the white man. I don't bark and
no.
complain
Okay, but
about shit like
this is my
that.
point. But this is my point. You're saying that
Okay,
I'm not
it's
justifying.
obvious.
You're
Listen,
saying that
white
they're
people
right.
park
That's not. I'm telling you why they do it. I don't care
right.
what the person says. There's a reason behind doing things. Everybody does something for a reason. You're claiming though they doing it with no
Listen,
reason.
love.
So
For
if you
based off
see
of what
that,
my personal experience is, whenever I'm walking, police officers they park any kind of way on the curb, looking at shit on their phone, eating. Like,
I've never seen it.
no. You
I've
say
seen
you
them park
haven't
in
seen it?
five. I've never seen it, and I've been in five boroughs.
All
I've
right.
never seen
Come
people
on over here
park
one night.
on the
Better yet, I'll
sidewalk.
FaceTime you the next time I walk.
I've never seen
You'll see
somebody
what I'm
park on the
talking about.
sidewalk. I see them sitting on the
I will
fire hydrant
definitely
here
FaceTime you
and
so
not
that
on
you
the
can see
sidewalk.
that. So you can see that so that you
So you
can
see them sitting on the
have an idea
sidewalk
in your
eating
head
anything?
that, oh, well, maybe it might be something else other than a
I
crime.
told no, no.
Nope.
Listen,
They
I
just
told you they're in
use
the
their
car and they can move it.
uniform.
But
Their
that's
uniform
see,
is
that's the
their
problem.
privilege, girl.
Everybody feels like it's a privilege and it's not because they take the most
It
heat. It's not
is.
a privilege.
It
It's
is.
not a privilege
It
because what are
is.
they getting from it? What are they getting out of it?
You get away with murder
That's not
in a
true.
badge.
They
And
just
yes
sentenced.
you do. In a uniform,
That's
you
not
get
true.
away with murder. Yes you do.
Rich's cousin got sentenced, went to jail. How did he get away with murder? And he was a police officer, an honorable police
Not
officer.
everybody. Oh shit! Not everybody goes to jail for wearing a uniform.
Most people I know.
They be wanting to mess with certain people. Facts. Haha, 3 people
Really?
watching. Yeah. What happened?
Who's Brad 2020?
No. But I was saying, going back to defunding the police, I honestly don't think why the hype is even happening right now, let alone why we even having this conversation. Because me personally, $6 billion, and y'all got to slap on the
I feel
wrist with
like people
only
are corrupt.
taking away
I feel
one
like most
and
people.
only taking away one
I
billion
think that most
dollars.
people are
It's not
co-funded.
that deep.
That's how I feel.
I think it's not that deep. I don't think it's that serious, nor is it that deep. Y'all, it's not like NYPD is suffering and y'all are having to drop people left and right because of this $1 billion. NYPD is good. They got a slap
They
on the
did something. They
wrist,
have a
and
whole
at
bunch
the
of
end of the
legislation
day,
coming. I agree with
the only
that.
thing that we can do, because I also researched when was the next election, for mayor, we gonna have to get De Blasio up out this damn office. Cause first things first, I'm not really fucking with him. So the next time we can vote is next year, June 2021. And my vote is going to Corey Johnson.
Who's Corey Johnson?
So Corey Johnson is actually he's one of the politicians. Damn, I don't want to get it wrong. But I read somewhere that him and De Blasio were the ones to actually discuss the defunding of the NYPD, and he was kind of the one who pushed it. However, De Blasio, I think, was the one who mentioned the $1 billion, and he was not satisfied with just $1 billion. He wanted
Well, I
to
know I'm
push
not voting for
more.
Corey.
He wanted to push more, but I guess they will only settle for $1 billion. But again, like I mentioned, $1 billion is not gonna hurt NYPD. It's not, like at the end of the day, they're still gonna continue to do whatever it is that they are doing now. They're gonna continue to be corrupt. They're gonna continue to,
Well,
do all of this
that's what
unnecessary
What's up? She
stuff.
said. She
They're
read
still
something. She
gonna
said it's not that
continue.
they're corrupt. The union is corrupt. She said the
Right.
police officers are not corrupt. The union is corrupt.
No, because police officers can be barred. I'm not gonna just say that. I'm not gonna say that.
I don't agree with that. Like I don't see that. Like I know people,
People
a lot of
listen.
police
People
officers.
can very well get corrupt. They be She said,
Yeah,
hold up. Some
people
people
can
do
listen.
make complaints all of the time, just like everything else they do. It goes nowhere. Cause like Laura
Yeah, people make
said,
them right.
she don't care about
People
complaints.
complain. No, listen. Let me talk about complaints. I deal with complaints with people over nonsense. People, let me tell you something about people. People make complaints about summonses because they think that the summons is going to get dismissed. Then when you tell them the summons not going to get dismissed, they don't want to continue to complain. Because at the end of the day, if somebody's doing something wrong, then you're supposed to report it, right? See something, say something, but nobody says anything. And then everybody says, but they don't want the police department there. I don't feel like you should ever defund the police department. I'm
You
not
say
personal
you don't
opinion.
think Laura, $6
No,
billion
I don't agree with
dollars.
defunding.
When
I
in
don't listen.
actuality, did you know that NYPD is not necessarily funding y'all? Like,
What do you
the
mean?
people funding y'all are the people that are sending money to go into your pockets are I want to say Department of Transportation and Department of, I don't want to say education because I think that's wrong. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Who's funding who?
One
The Department of
second.
Transportation doesn't
All of
fund
these
traffic division. The
all of
Department
these
of Transportation doesn't
different
fund. The Department
organizations,
of Education
all of
doesn't
these
fund school
other,
safety. We are not
all of
funded
these
by them. We are
different
funded by the
things you
city.
were saying.
No, you said the
Hold
entity.
on.
You said the Department of Education. That is school
I'm
safety.
sorry,
They're not
Department of
funded.
Transportation. Yes,
No,
Department of
Department. No, you said
Transportation.
Department. You said Department of Transportation. They do not fund us.
No,
DOT does not fund us.
hold on, Laura. Let me find this. Give me one
I'm telling
second.
you, why you gonna tell me where? I know where traffic used to be under the DOT umbrella. They would NYPD
Yeah,
switch them over.
1996. They removed
They switched
themselves
over
from
to exactly. They
and
switched
went
over
to
to
the
NYPD.
NYPD because of the insults they were getting on work. Like people were fighting them, and shit
No, that's
wasn't
not
getting
why. That's
done.
a lie. See, I don't know what
No,
sources you got. That's not the truth. That's not the truth.
listen, girl.
But
From what I heard,
that's how I know the sources ain't true.
listen. From what
That's
I
not what I. No, no,
heard,
no. That's not what. That's not what.
listen.
That's
From
not
what
the
I
reason.
heard,
NYPD took
listen.
over the traffic division because what we do is technically something that NYPD also does, which is write summonses. So they took us over. And the Department of Transportation is one entity, but the chief of transportation is under the traffic division, is under the police department. So that's why they took us over. Yes, they were being assaulted by police officers and by the public
Mm-hmm.
DOC when they were on the
Mm-hmm.
when they were brownies. But that is not why the police department took them over.
That
They
is
didn't go
definitely
away
why the
because
police. No, the what was going on was there was reports, and that's actually something that's being said now as to why people don't want traffic agents in them to shift away
traffic
from
doesn't want to go away
NYPD,
from
and
PD.
it's because people are scared that
No, please. They still get assaulted with NY. They still get assaulted under the police department umbrella. That shit don't change nothing.
yes
Traffic
it
doesn't want to
does.
go to NYP. No, it doesn't. They didn't change nothing. It's still a felony to assault a traffic agent. They
It
didn't
leaves
change
y'all
anything.
at risk. Long story short, it
We were
leaves y'all
already
at
at risk.
risk.
Listen, they're still at
Hey,
risk.
and I know that.
But
And
that
back
doesn't
in
change anything.
1995,
Listen,
1995, before y'all got with the
listen.
NYPD,
Listen, I started under NYPD first.
it was a lot of
Second,
reports. Y'all were being brutally
there
fucked up.
were
Wasn't
no.
nobody listening to y'all. Wasn't
They were
nobody really
yeah, but
doing
they were
that.
still getting taken.
There was no
Listen, they didn't
authority,
come
and
under
then
the
that's
umbrella,
when
but they
y'all
didn't
went to
go
the
under the
NYPD.
NYPD. No, that's not why they went.
Yes,
NYPD took over
NYPD
the.
took y'all under their wing.
No, they did. This is how I know your sources are not true, because that is a bullshit lie. That's not how NYPD took over. I know why NYPD took over. I know the
Lord,
people that did the negotiation of the
oh, that's what they
contract.
told you how it had
No,
been.
I started in traffic. I started as NYPD. The brownies went over there not because they were being assaulted, because
Mm-hmm.
they were also being assaulted by police officers. So why would police
Mm-hmm.
officers take them over? That's first and foremost. Secondly, that's not why they went over. The NYPD negotiated the contract to take traffic over because traffic was also right in their division, and they did not like that. They wanted to have all the divisions. So they took over traffic, they took over school safety, they had all those divisions together. That's how that worked. That had nothing to do with being assaulted because traffic agents are assaulted now, and they're under the NYPD umbrella.
Yeah,
So
but
what's
back
changing?
then in 1995, it was bad.
They
It
were
was
being
worse.
assaulted by the police officers. That's why it was bad. So why would
By
they go?
police
Why would
officers
you?
that wasn't on the job, by police officers that got a ticket for some bullshit.
Yes,
Like,
sweetie. In the Bronx, in your
all
Bronx
right,
command, in your Bronx office, the police officers for a long time used to still assault the traffic agents. You don't know the history of traffic. You just read in some paper. But that's not reality. There
no,
was an
it's
agent that was assaulted. There was an agent who got his ear bit off by a police officer in the Bronx when I was on Nighthawk. There was an agent who got his ear bit off, got his ear bit by a police officer in the Bronx, and then the police department came and arrested him.
rest of who?
And he was a traffic agent under the traffic agent
Oh, they came and arrested the traffic agent. Y'all hear that?
after he
People,
was assaulted.
corruption, corruption,
Mm.
corruption
It wasn't corruption. The problem was
justifies. Go ahead.
no,
There she
I'm
go.
not, no.
And I
I'm not
kill the
justifying what
justification.
the I'm not justifying what the guy did, but it's not corruption. That's just like any place.
Wait,
That's
you
like
said
in
the
your
police
house.
officer bit his ear off?
Yes,
And they sent the guy who got his ear bit off to jail?
they arrested him.
Laura.
And I'm not justifying what nobody did. What I'm going to explain to you is what happened. The problem with the police officers and the NYPD, that's why I said, what you're saying is not true. It didn't, we didn't come
Laura.
over here because, but listen to
Laura.
what,
So I'm just
listen, what you're
assuming you
missing, can you
gonna
listen?
sit
Can you
here
stop
and say
talking?
that
Can you
New
stop
York
talking and let me
Times
explain?
New York
Can you
Times
stop
is
talking?
lying. I'm assuming you're gonna sit up here and say that the New York Post is lying. I'm just gonna sit up here and assume
That
everybody that
they
I
did not
looked
come
up.
over because of what the New York Times is saying. That's not why. Because why would our unit, why would we want to join people that were abusing us? That makes
Cause y'all
sense?
ain't had no choice.
You
You make it
muted. Why are
seem
you
as if
muted?
y'all
Hold
had
on.
a voice or something.
Why is my mute on? Hold on. Muted. Hello?
Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you. Hello?
I can hear you. Can you
Can you
hear
hear
me?
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I
Can you
can't
hear
hear
me?
you at all. And I didn't mute you.
What about now?
Hello? No, I don't hear you.
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Let me see.
Can you hear
I
me
can't hear you.
now?
Hello? I can't
Can
hear
you
you.
hear me now?
I don't hear
Let
nothing
me
you're
leave and come
saying.
back then. I'm gonna leave and come back.
I don't hear you. Okay, so let me read some of these things. This is hold up. So okay, that's the last comment. Let me start by saying we're never gonna agree on this, me nor her, because yeah, she has her facts from the paper from the internet. That's not just the reality of things. So we're never gonna agree on this. Wait for her to come back in. There she goes. Hold on. Oh,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you. I was talking shit about you. I was saying we're never gonna agree on this because you
Oh,
have your facts from the
listen,
New
I'm
York
just
Post.
letting you know what I'm reading from
Yeah, but
website.
just because you
For
read it,
one,
that makes it true.
I know not to know, and you're right about that. Just because you read something, don't make it true. However, I know if I'm getting something from the internet, I am not that person to just click on the first thing that they see in regards to that
Yeah, but just
situation.
because it's so, if you are a gossip columnist who writes your opinion and you work for the Post,
These are
that's
not
okay.
gossip columns, though.
But I'm
These are
saying to you, you're
politics.
saying that these are, but
New
they're
York
you
Times is
can't
a
just
gossip
no,
situation.
not New York Times. You said like, you said three different newspapers. Which one
New
is it?
York Post. New York Post.
Exactly,
I did not
exactly.
mean to say
You
the
keep
the
saying that. I don't
Washington
know. You don't know
Post.
where you got it from. You
I
said
know
you
where
just
I
said
got it
New
from.
York
I just didn't
Times.
write it down.
Well, that's what you're
Lord,
supposed to do.
that's
You have
because
facts.
it's more than one. It's more than one. I'm reading more than one source. One of them
So
is
then
from
you
the
should know.
Washington, the New York Post, and the other one is from New York Times. Like, there's no reason for me to sit here and all right, because you're gonna
I
believe
gotta
what
get
you
your
want to
facts.
believe, and I'm just trying to explain to you what it is. I
But no,
didn't
you're
just
trying to
click the
justify
first thing.
your theory on it. I'm telling
Isn't
you
that
that
what we're
it
both
doesn't
trying to
mean
do? Justify
no,
where we
no, no. I'm
coming
not justifying.
from.
I'm not justifying. I was explaining to you things. I just don't agree with certain things. Like I said, I have my opinions on certain things. So I'm not going to change my opinion on things just because you feel the way you feel. I'm
Well,
also
$1 billion
employed by them,
ain't
and
gonna
I
hurt
see the
them, and $1 billion
no, it
did
did.
not
No, it
hurt.
did.
It did not hurt them.
It hurt the city. It didn't hurt
It
them.
hurt who?
It
Hurt
hurt
the city
everybody
how?
because
The
they
city
took
went in a way.
away certain people. They what did they do with the money? They took away certain people that were doing their job and put nothing in there to replace it. So now, when you say the crime is
That's
not
not
up,
true either,
I get
Laura. That's
all
not
kinds of
true.
alerts on my phone by the civilian app that says, "Oh, they got this crime. This person is being assaulted. This person is being stabbed. This person is being jumped. This person has a fire."
Hmm.
I get that everywhere I go off the Citizens app every day. I don't go one day without getting at least five or six of those things or something going on in somebody's area. And being somebody
Hmm.
who drives and I'm always either in Queens or in the city, and I go to the Bronx, you see those things. So you're not going to tell me that there's no crime, but all these crimes are happening. That's impossible. The rate is not
Laura,
down. So
did you know? Do you remember those 1,000 or so people that allegedly wasn't gonna get hired in October, November? I think it was
for
that
what?
because of the defunding, they were like police officers. There was like a new class coming in or something like
There's
that,
always a
and
new
it was
class.
like
Every there's
they're
three
not.
classes a year. There's three
Yeah,
classes a year.
exactly.
I know.
Right, right. So apparently they sat here and mentioned, and when I say they, I'm meaning De Blasio. Yeah, his name is De Blasio. De Blasio and them were like, the new group of people weren't is like 1,000 and some people who weren't going to be accepted into like NYPD or something.
Hmm.
Um, but to make it a long story short, they say that yeah, we're not hiring these people to cut down on budget costs, but those other two classes ended up hiring 1,000 and
No,
something students to replace
no,
them.
they
Yes,
haven't.
they did. Yes, they did. Yes,
No,
they
I'm
did.
telling you, they
Yes,
haven't
they
had a
did.
class. You're telling me they had a
Laura,
class during the
you no,
pandemic.
they
They did
didn't
not.
hire one class. They did not hire one class,
They
Laura.
did
But
not. Class.
there's other
No, there's
ones they got
no.
hired,
That's how I know
Laura.
your sources are lies. Because I know there's no class.
Jermaine Williams. And he actually was talking
Jermaine
to
Williams is
this,
who?
talking about.
Who is he?
I'm trying to explain to you, Laura. I saw this interview he did with Ebro in the morning. He is a black activist. Um, Laura.
Mm. I'm
You're
not
you're
honestly so
listen,
because
I'm
you're telling
starting
me
to
things that I
realize that
know.
your pretty little
No, no, no.
NYPD.
You
You
know what it?
starting to
No, no.
think
You
that
know
your
what it
pretty
is?
little NYPD is not corrupt.
No, no. But you see, this is I can tell you how it's a lie, and this is why I'm telling you. This is why I said to you, you're listening to these people, but your facts are not correct. NYPD has not had the
Laura.
class. I'm gonna explain to you because
Okay, go
you
ahead.
keep saying,
Go
Lord,
ahead.
stop
Go
saying my
ahead. Go
name.
ahead.
It's not gonna change the fact that you're wrong. NYPD has not hired a class. They did not hire two classes. Let me tell you how I know. Because I know people, like I just said, that were going into the class. The NYPD did not
Girl.
hire 1,000 agents, a thousand police officers. They did not.
Cause you
They
know
actually,
everybody in those classes, right? And you
I
have
know the four that
relations
just
with
left for
every
one class.
you have
No,
relations
no.
with
You see,
everybody in
you're
that
not
class,
listening.
right?
You're not listening. Your problem is you're blinded by this. Oh, everybody else is wrong. You're not listening. I just told you.
No, the
There were
police
people
department is
waiting.
wrong.
No, no, no. They're not wrong. The police department did not hire two classes. When they defunded the police department, they stopped all classes. There was supposed to
Hmm.
be a class in January. There's supposed to be a class in
October
no June, no July.
and
January,
October.
July, and October. Those are the three classes. They did
Right.
not do January's class. They did not do
Mm-hmm.
July's class. They, however,
Mm-hmm.
just did a class in November.
Mm.
Just one class. And it's not no thousands of people. They also lost over 1,000 people that retired from the job. Over thousands of people that retired. That's why NICERS has stopped people from retiring.
Mm.
So this is something that you don't know, but you're listening to some guy who's an activist who cannot prove they hired two classes. Because if they hired
He's
thousands of people, if they hired thousands, 2,000, you're saying two classes, 2,000 people. Minimum class for NYPD class is like 900 to 1,000 people minimum, right? Minimum 900. So if they hired 2,000 classes of police officers, where they
I
went?
didn't say 2,000. I said two classes.
I just told you
However,
the
it
minimum
was
for a class is 900.
1,000. No, it was 1,000
They
and
never gonna
some
find
odd
that.
of them that was hired from both classes.
No, not until November.
Well, either
They did
way it
not do two
goes,
classes.
a
They just
thousand
hired
of
a
them
class.
wasn't supposed to. Oh,
Not
so
a
they just
diet.
hired it.
They just hired a class of 900. I just told you four of my agents went into the class. They've been sending them to go back and forth for the same drug test that they have to do because you have to drug test every certain amount of months, and they've been sending them back and forth, and they have to get COVID tested. So four of my
Either
agents just
way it
left. So
goes,
yes,
they
I
were still
know
hired.
they were just hired. But
So they're
your
still
facts
hiring
say,
people for the
yo, they're not
NYPD.
still hiring people. They were able to get one class in based on the shortage that NYPD took with all the people that retired. They were basically there, and they were trying to get a class in, but because they were defunded, they told them they couldn't. So they've been trying to get a class in from July, and they didn't get a class in. And we didn't even think this class was going to go in. So therefore, they're not hiring all these classes that these people are saying. They're not hiring all these people.
But Lori, exaggeration. I didn't say that they
But
were
then it's a
hiring
lie. It's
all
not
of
a,
these classes.
that's what you just said.
Again,
You
Laura, there
said
was
some
nothing
guy
to
named, what was his
lie
name?
about.
You
Laura,
said some guy named James. What
Laura.
was his name?
It
Jermaine. What was his
his
name?
name is his name is
What was
Jermaine
his,
Williams.
you said Jermaine Williams said on he did an interview on Ebruce or whoever that guy's name is,
Hmm.
right? And you
And he
said
is a
they said
black.
they
He
would
is a
define.
black. He is
Okay,
a
he could be a Puerto
well-known
Rican,
black.
black, green, orange. He could be. I don't care what he is.
Okay, but
You said he was
okay.
on the interview, and you said that he said that they hired two NYPD classes, correct?
No, I said 1,000. They hired 1,000 people from
Christina, you said,
two classes.
but they didn't hire. But okay, but they didn't hire two classes of 1,000 people.
Oh,
They didn't hire two people from a
it
thousand.
was from two
They just
different
hired a class,
right,
and they
but it
barely
was
hired
from
that class. But that's my point. This is what I'm saying to you. You're saying your facts. You're saying this person said this. I'm telling you how you said, oh, they had two. They hired two classes, and they had 1,000 people. Okay, that's not true though. So okay, they hired one class recently. I'm sorry, my throat is dry. They hired one class recently, but that's not two classes. So if he's such a well-known person, he got all his facts straight. He's got sources. Where did he get his source from? This is
so
my
what you're
point with you.
saying is it's not possible for them to look at one class and say, I think they're good, and look at another class and be like, I think they're good, and take people from both classes to make 1,000
There's no
people.
class. Okay, listen. First of all, it wasn't 1,000 people. Second, is not your what you're saying is They had a class and they had another class and they put the two classes together and put them in. That's not what happened. That's not
That's
how the
not what.
NYPD hires.
Okay.
But that's not how they hire. That's what you just said. You just
Okay.
said to
Okay.
me
Laura,
it's
keep
not
going. Keep
possible to
going. Keep
take.
going on your
You
point.
said no. You just said to me it's not possible to take two people classes. Oh, the people from this class and that class and put them in a class. No, I'm not saying that. But that's not how the NYPD hires. The NYPD hires their police officers based on their background. They're passing their investigation. When they pass their
Hmm.
investigation, they're put on a wait and they're waiting till the next class comes in. So if they're gonna hire 2,000 people, then the 2,000 people who pass their background situation, they get hired. There's no class like, oh, this is the first class that's been waiting and the second class that's been waiting. And they know that's not how it goes. It goes in order. They just on standby until they get called. They take different tests. Some of them take promotional tests. Some of them take the actual NYPD test. They take different tests and they're called based on their list and test number. Their list number and their test number and their list number. They're called based on that, but that has nothing to do with a class. There's no class just waiting there to
Either
be
way
called.
it goes, was there or was there not 1,000 people just hired for NYPD?
Not 1,000, no. There was 900.
900, Laura, close to a
You said
thousand.
1,000. You said 1,000.
900, Laura, close to 1,000.
But you said two classes.
It was there. What was there? Was there not 900 people, close to 1,000, that just got hired for NYPD?
But you said in two classes. You didn't know they just got hired till I told you. So if I wouldn't have said that, you would have
Were
said
they?
went based on what you
No,
said.
because I already told you that they were. I just sat there and said that yes, 1,000 of them didn't make it, but they still ended up hiring 1,000 more people.
That's not what you said. You said two classes were
Laura,
hired by that guy. That's what you, the guy said two classes. That's when I said
when
to you
I
that's
say
not true.
Laura, is it okay?
But
So
when
with
you
that
said,
being
listen, when you
said,
said the
with
guy
that being
said,
said,
I
is it
told you
only
that was
one
not true.
school that everybody goes to?
Yes,
One school.
yes,
All right. There's no other schools, no nothing.
no,
It's just one.
nope,
Okay.
nope.
Cool. They still hired 1,000 people out of that school. Did they or did they not?
They didn't hire 1,000. They hired 900.
900, close to 1,000. Did they or did they not? Yes, they
But
did.
see, but you're saying
When the
okay, they did,
what we're
but
supposed
not
to be
when you're
doing
saying
is cutting back
okay,
from
they did.
hiring all of these
They did. First of all, they did. They defunded the police department in June. They did not hire the class in July when we get a new budget. We get a new
Laura, it
budget every
doesn't
July.
count. It doesn't
It
count
does
based
count. We
off
get a new
of
budget.
like, we could skip this
We
class
get a
and
new
we're
budget
gonna
every
definitely
July.
put
What are you
people in
talking
the
about?
next
We get a
class.
new budget every July. Every July, our budget is changed. We get a new budget. I don't know what you know about the city, but every July there's a new budget. So if in July they had the budget to hire and they didn't hire or promote or didn't do anything, they just been sitting there waiting until they have some type of money to do it. And now they were able to enter a class because they had more than I think 2,000 3,000 police officers retired. Something that high number that retired. I can't remember how many it was. They retired. And it says, sorry, Laura. In just about every statement, there is corruption in the police department. I don't agree with that. And then it says, and just about every state. I'm not denying that that anybody has doesn't or does have corruption because I don't have proof of that. So I cannot say what I don't have proof of. Just because people view things one way for soldier, I can't say that. Like I would never. I'm not that person that's gonna just read something or say something and say, well, this is what they said. This is true. That's not how I look at life or things. So I don't know about any corruption in the police department. I don't know about any personally. If it's there, I don't know about it. I can only talk about what I know. And as far as
I'm
in
a, I'm
some
a,
ways
I'm a, I'm gonna take your
passing on
shot,
money,
Laura, and I'm gonna take your shot and I'm gonna alley oop it back to you.
what?
Sis, I read your shot.
What?
I read your shot.
What? No, I'm telling you,
And
but this
that's
is
not
true.
how I
I
look
don't
at.
know.
No, that's just me doing my research. That's what you call doing research. I'm
No,
not
no,
on
no, 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 no,
CNN.
no. I
I'm
said
not on
I'm not, but I
CNN
no. She's
every
saying
single
no, no. She
day.
said
No, I'm
no.
letting
She.
you
I'm
know
reading about what
because
she
you.
said though. No, I'm saying
Okay.
what she said. I don't read things. I don't listen. I don't read something and say, especially working for the police department. I don't look and read something and say, oh well, this is it. You say you're going based on some guy who's a black activist. Okay, that's what you follow. That's what.
Well known
Okay,
activist.
that doesn't make it. That does
Well
not
known
make him
activist
everything.
that
He's
I am
not.
sure
Okay,
who is heavily
okay,
involved in getting
but
information as far as where this money is going, how much they're being defunded, and
Okay,
all
he
of this
said,
stuff. Lord,
okay,
at the end
but
of the day,
them being defunded,
you can
listen,
say
you
what you
can,
want.
but you're saying because one person said that, that makes it true. That's not reality. Just because he said, you sat
Okay.
there, you started this whole conversation with that about this gentleman, and you said, oh, he said that two classes went in of 1,000 people or whatever you were saying with 1,000 people. But you said two classes, and I told you I started off by saying that's a lie, and you were like, no, he said this his sources, and I said that's a lie, and you kept saying his source. Then when I
Okay.
said to you, but I kept telling you
Granted,
that was a lie. And when I said to you, I
that could
said
have been
that's a
my
lie. That's
mistake.
it. But I
That could
told,
have
but
been
my
my
thing was,
mistake
I said that was a
because I
lie,
was
and then I
writing all of
explained to
this.
you. Yeah, okay, but I explained to you what happened. But I started off by when we first started this video by telling you that there were four agents that went to the police department.
I said
So my thing was, I didn't.
my
I told
mistake.
you what the fact is.
Speed
But see, this is
writing.
my thing. You're saying, but here's what I'm saying with you, Christina.
Laura,
You're saying to me,
it was still a
you're
thousand
saying
people
he's
hired from
right, but no,
NYPD. It
listen to me.
doesn't
But
matter.
that's
It
not how
doesn't
you started off
matter.
the conversation. So now you're saying, oh, it doesn't matter because that, but that's not what you said. So if your facts are so straight, then I shouldn't have to be saying any input that's going to tell me that what you said is not true. Your facts, you said two classes. I said two classes. I know for a fact there were two classes, and I told you that from the beginning.
Okay.
Now you
I
misspoke. I know,
made a
Christina, you
mistake.
misspoke.
I made
Christina,
a
how many
mistake.
mistakes do
You
you
don't
make in
have to
stating
say,
facts?
Laura,
If it's facts, you shouldn't be
it's
making
been only
mistakes.
two. Yeah, you want to know
When I've
why?
been
Because you
to,
keep trying to drill me. Listen, Laura, you keep
I'm
doing
not
that.
doing it.
All right. For
I'm
you,
not doing
you take
anything.
your little shot. You take your little
I'm not trying.
shot
I'm
whenever
saying,
I fuck some shit up. I'm letting you
but this is
know
my
that
point. If
maybe
you're
that was
stating
my
facts,
mistake. No.
this
Maybe
is
it
my
was
point.
still my mistake because I wrote all of this shit down and I was speed writing. All right. Regardless, at the end of the day, whether I got it right or whether it was still 1,000 people to be hired
It
for the
wasn't 1,000 people
NYPD.
behind,
It doesn't matter.
but it wasn't a
It
thousand. It
does
wasn't
not
two classes.
matter. People were let go and people were still hired again.
People were
That's
not
not
let
what
go.
you
People were retired.
girl.
Let go is
All
people
right.
being fired. They did not fire when they defunded the people. They never
No.
fired anybody. They defunded. They just took away a unit and they put them on regular patrol. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
fire the people. You have a union. You can't fire people.
Okay. Well, they was
That's
switched
not. Yeah.
around. They was doing something other than
They
what
do.
they were doing, or initially
Yeah,
what
they
they were
would do. They
doing.
they just not in. They
So
just not in clean
maybe
clothes.
okay. So that was my mistake for speed writing. Listening to what he was saying and writing shit down all at one time. It can be a little confusing. My mistake. But at the end of the day, 1,000 people were so at the end of the day, 900 people were still hired. They don't believe in this defund the police shit. The proof is shown by the police department on a regular
So
basis.
because you take money, you don't hire people. That makes sense.
Huh. Wait, what?
So because you
Say it again.
defunded the police department, they shouldn't hire police officers.
You said what?
Because they defunded the police officers, the police department, they shouldn't hire police officers.
They shouldn't be hiring close to 1,000 police officers. No, not if they
Why
supposed
shouldn't
to
they
be
be hiring
defunded.
close to a
The
thousand? That's
problem
normally
is
what a
it's way
class
too
is.
many damn police officers. That's
There's
the
not way too
issue.
many damn police
Well, it's
officers,
another
and
issue.
people get cut in the police academy. So there's not. They have to hire that amount because event people get cut in the academy.
Can you still hear me? I took my earphones
I hear
off.
you.
Okay,
People
because
get
I
cut
had
in the
to charge
academy.
my
In the
phone.
academy, people get
Uh huh.
cut, and they people get cut. Not everybody passes the academy,
Right.
so they have to hire enough people to try to make sure they got enough people at the end of a class.
Lord, it's way too many people in NYPD.
There's not way too
So
many
with
people.
that
They
being
lost a lot of
said,
people. When you did your research, how many people retired from NYPD?
I didn't look at that. That ain't got nothing to do with
Oh,
me. That ain't got
why
nothing to do
isn't
with
it?
me, sis.
That's the
I'm not
reason why
looking
they
for
hired a class.
retirement plans. I'm not
It's
looking
not
for
retirement. That's the reason why they hired the class to come to
Lord, and you know, and that's a fact.
they
And
hired the
I
class.
will be getting back to you about that too.
That is a fact. That's why they hired the class because they had a lot of people retire. So if they had, I forgot how many people. I said, I'm not sure. I know it's over 1,000 that retired, or more than that. I think it's close to two. I'm not 90%. I'm not 100% sure about the number, but they had a lot of people retire from the police department because once they do 20 years, they can retire. So they had a lot of people who were put their retirement in, and then they hired to balance that out. but they didn't hire enough. I know that much because I know what they hired is nowhere near what they lost.
That's a-okay with everybody. Well, that's a-okay with me,
Okay.
sure.
It's a-okay till you need the police officer. Then it's not a-okay. Then it's, oh, there was no police officer to help me.
Listen, if I ever need a officer and can't one come right down the road from where I stay, it's the problem.
If there's no police officers to come down the road,
It is a problem.
then what you don't want them to hire police officers. There's none that come down the
Not
road,
more,
then they
not
can't
more,
come.
because we don't need more police officers.
Yeah,
That
but
don't
you
do
you
shit but
think so? That's the
antagonize the
problem. You
community,
don't know.
Laura.
You look at
You don't
police
think
officers;
having
they're
police
rankings.
officers on the streets give people excitement to do stupid shit?
No, I don't need a police officer
Laura,
on the street to give me.
girl,
Then that means that
listen.
people lack their own common sense. Because why does
So
somebody
what
be
were
on the
they
street?
doing before? What were they doing before the police came about?
They were committing crimes. That's why the police came about.
No, they wasn't.
Because you were there.
Because the police started to try and capture slaves who was running away and shit.
There was no police for slaves.
Yeah, they ended up getting them. Yes, they did. The police started to sit here and gather. It started to gather slaves who were on the run, slaves who were on the loose. Them sheriffs and shit.
Sheriffs and police officers are two different things. They're two different departments. Did you know that?
Yeah, a
Okay,
sheriff
so then
is
how
more of
you?
a community situation, and
It's not
police
more of
are
a
more
community
so.
situation. Sheriffs are not community situations. But okay. They're not a community situation. The sheriff
All
in New
right,
York is not a community situation. It's
okay.
actually New York State at that. But this conversation is going nowhere, and I'm getting hotter and hotter. I'm hot.
Yeah.
I'm sweating the
Moral of the
AC out.
story is NYPD just need to shut up. $1 billion ain't gonna kill them.
They
At
didn't
the
say
end of the
nothing about
day,
the $1 billion. Y'all said something. You said something. I feel like they still. I still don't agree with defunding the police department. I
no,
still
if
don't,
the police was defunded, but it was only with $1 billion. So
because we all got a
at the
billion
end of the
dollars just laying
day,
around.
it don't matter what I say. It don't matter what you say. All we could do is really
We
vote
not.
next year in June and get De Blasio up out of office.
Well, I don't know. But I don't want that guy you said, Corey. I got issues with that.
Oh, you know who he is?
Nope. You just told me he doesn't. He
Oh,
believes in
so you
defunding the
got
police
issues
department.
with him
I'm
having
not
the
with
idea
defunding the police
of
department.
defunding the police.
I don't care. I'm not with
Girl,
defunding the police
you are
department.
part of the problem if you do not believe that the police should be defunded.
I do not believe the police should be defunded. You'll never get me
Then
to
you
say
are
that.
part of the problem, Laura.
No, it's actually foot soldier is not enough police officers. See, the problem with people is people are not fully aware of the ranking in the police department. Police officers are the ones that are outside. The supervisors, the sergeants, the lieutenants, the white shirt they get the shirt get whiter. They don't go in the streets. So when the police people retire and they don't have no police officers out in these streets, there's nobody but the people in the precinct. So therefore, if you only have like 5 or 6 police officers on a tour, then it's a lot. It's not a lot. That's why they said they're short. But everybody doesn't understand that part. And I don't expect everybody to. So, but I don't agree with defunding the police department. Nobody's going to change my mind. It has nothing to do with who I am employed by. It's just the fact of I know what can happen in these streets, and I know that police officers, there are helpful ones. Yeah, there are bad ones, but there are also helpful ones.
What you
But that
do
being said,
steers, and what you do steers, it steers your opinion, though. It
no,
does. It
because
does.
defunding the police department is not going to defund me. They'll just put us under DOT. I don't. That doesn't affect my position. So it's not. It doesn't steer it. My reason for why I feel the way I feel is because I grew up and I seen what happens in areas where police officers are not there. Where they'll come around every once in a while. There are areas where people get shot and killed. People dying all the time. And when it comes down to when it's you who's assaulted or you who needs the police officer, you look at things differently. When it's not you that needs a police officer, it's easy to talk when you've never needed a police officer. But when you actually do need a police officer and they're not there to help you, then you'll understand the why I view things the way I view things. It has nothing to do with who I'm employed by. They employ me, and I had the option to be a police officer. I refuse to be a police officer because I cannot protect people who don't respect me. And that's why I would never be a police officer, because people, not to be mean, but people like who think like you think, Christina, I could not sit here and put my life on the line for somebody like that, then knowing they don't respect what I do. And that's why I never became a police officer. Because I seen how they deal with traffic, and I've seen the same people do the same thing with police officers. I've seen
So it's
people
that, but
disrespect
not the
police officers.
corruption, not
I'm
the
not, no, listen, you
corruption,
keep saying corruption.
not the
You have no
dirtiness
proof of
that they
corruption. You just,
do.
I'm not saying,
Not it
listen,
has nothing to do
everybody,
with
you
the
have
shit
no
that they
proof of
do,
it
but
though. You're
every little
talking
thing
about,
to do in my view and opinion.
no, 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 no,
Oh,
no. I'm telling you based on you, we're talking about what I said, why I never became a police officer. For people who think like you, people who
hmm
feel the way you feel, because they feel like they don't need a police officer. And they feel like, oh, I can live my life and I never
I
need
never.
that.
Okay, so let
But
me
that's why I said when you
correct that.
defund the
Let me
police officer, this
correct
is
that.
why.
I don't want police officers. However, I do. Um,
But that's,
what I
okay.
do want is community. What I do want is community protection. So if, let's say, they defund police and police officers are no more, then I want a an elite group of individuals who can come in, listen to some shit, listen to a full story, and be able to base their decisions off of strategic uh
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know where she at. I believe they should redo the academy training via Booba. I agree with you. I think they should definitely redo the. I think that they have ways they could fix things. I do believe that. I believe they have ways they could fix things. The problem is that um it can only be fixed if they they change it. There's areas where it can be fixed, but I don't believe that there's um what's it called? I don't believe that there's corruption. I don't see corruption. Like I know there's bad people, but I don't see corruption. I just know there's bad people.
my bad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read the comments again and I hit leave. Oh damn, they left. Oh no.
So I don't believe that there's I believe
Yeah, like I
there's
was saying,
ways they
I
could
think
fix
it
the
should be
department that.
an elite group, maybe people from the military who don't necessarily want to be in the military no more.
But they
Have
are
them
people in the military
trained.
who are police officers. That's
I'm
why I said
sorry.
like there's a lot of people in the military who are police officers. There are a lot of people from the
Okay,
military. The
well,
police department supports the military. There's a lot of police officers who are
okay, so
military. A lot.
whatever police department, we don't need them. If it's somebody, if people in the military who don't want to deal with army shit no more, they got another option, and that's to come back to their communities and serve in some sort of community watch out situation. I would rather have that than
And what happens when
police
they somebody
officers,
buys them, as you say?
you know,
Because what
wearing
happens is
Halloween
that's how
costumes.
everything starts.
You
But
said, well,
I'm
Laura.
tired. I said that's how everything starts. It starts off with an elite group that comes to protect, and then John offers him
Right.
$20 to
Right.
watch
Because
his
again,
store.
Laura,
Yeah.
think about how the police department started in the first place. I just sat
That's
there
what
and
you're saying. I
told
don't know.
you
I'm gonna
it
check
was,
that. So I never heard that. I never heard that.
you know,
I never
okay,
heard the police
well,
department started with
do your
slavery.
research,
I heard the
Laura.
police department started, but I know it started like in the 1900s. But I don't remember when it started. I'm not gonna lie, because they have a year on the damn thing in one police files. I don't remember the year is. I'm not sure when it started. I can agree with hand-to-hand combat and physical tests. I think they did. I think there's room to improve the police department. I don't think they need to defund the police department. There's room for improvement, just with anybody.
So you got a
And I'm
problem
assuming
with the
that's
$1 billion that they took away from the $6 billion they were already getting?
I have a problem with them defunding the police department. Yes, not the amount of money, not that is that. It's just that that money could be allocated to do trainings, and I felt like that's what it could have did. They need to revamp the police department. I'm not gonna say
And
they need
how
to
do you
defund
revamp
the
it? You
police.
break it down and build it up again. Because, Laura, you cannot sit here and tell somebody who is
Yeah, but you
already corrupt how to. You cannot sit
yeah,
here
but you
and get a
can't. Okay, you
corrupt
can't say
person
that.
to
But you
go
don't know
into
who's corrupt.
training
Like I said, I can.
and
You
combat training.
can.
Like that's not gonna do nothing, Laura.
It
You're
is
not
though.
rebuilding the
It is
police
going to do that.
department.
No, it is going to do something because you got to remember you're giving training in the beginning,
Uh,
and if you've been on the job a long time and now you have to pass physical things that you couldn't pass before, then yes, you're going to turn around and have to figure out a way. But this thing is itching my ear, so that means I got to get off of this thing. Um, I'm done with this conversation. I love y'all. You done, Kristen? You got something else you want to say? I stand by. I don't agree with defund the police department. I'm not changing my view on that. What do you need to
and
say, Chris?
I stand by me wanting to defend it. $1 billion. That's nothing. I got my sources from the New York Post and New York Times, and I also watched an Ebro in the morning interview with Jermaine Williams. So with that being to clear that up, um, I think I'm done with this too, honestly.
Y'all have a
With
good
that
night.
being
Hope y'all
said,
enjoyed it. We've been on here too damn long. Smooches.
hey, get in the Facebook chat real quick.
All right, later. Love y'all.
All right.